Hello, good morning.
Good morning, wildlife.
Happy Lent.
Today is the 28th of February, the last day of February. Tomorrow
is March.
we're going to be March. Hooray!
It's not a leap year.
Almost spring.
Almost spring. Yay!
So Yvonne was saying we're in Lent. What's Lent? What's Lent, Yvonne?
Lent is the 40 days and 40 nights before Easter. And what people do often in Lent is they give something up.
Why do they do that?
Well, because Jesus gave up food and water in the desert for that long. So we do that before Easter, and then we treat ourselves when it's Easter and eat loads of Easter eggs.
As a matter of fact, Jesus gave up his life for us. So what we do at Lent is we spend 40 days where we really try and prepare ourselves and our minds and our hearts and our bodies for what Jesus did for us at Easter. So it's quite a good time. So as a church, I hope your mums and dads know that we are doing a Lent calendar.
Hello.
So we've got the Lent calendar as a church.
Yeah.
Have you opened any doors of the Lent calendar, Yvonne?
Yep, I've actually seen some beautiful poems and some beautiful songs on the Lent calendar.
It's really good. It's worth having a look at.
I opened my laptop just for them.
We also try and focus every week on an area around our lives, and this week
We're
Yep.
giving up jokes.
No.
You wish, joking.
Joke, only joking.
We're talking about friends and family.
We talk about friends and family, and we're going to try and think about how we can bless our friends and our families. I think that's a really good thing to do. But before we do anything else, I need a fun fact, Yvonne.
Would you like a fun fact? Did you know peanuts are actually a type of bean, not a type of nut? Did you also know that a bison crossed with a cow is called a beefalo?
For real?
Yeah.
Excellent. I like it. We've got a wall here. I wonder how you'd manage to get somebody who can't walk up over the wall and safely down on the other side. How would you do it, Yvonne?
I don't know, but if
No,
I
you
do
can't
like
walk.
this, it wouldn't be very safe. So I think I'll get some friends to help me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use your legs though, are you? He's disabled in the story.
Ah! Yeah.
Where's she gone? So, if you had a friend who was disabled, how would you get him from one place to another? Try and carry him. I think I would need a bit of help. Maybe we can ask these guys to help us. I think we'll get some friends to help. What do you reckon, Yvonne? Yes, let's listen to a story from the Gospels where there was a man who had 4 really, really good friends.
One day, Jesus was teaching, and Pharisees and the teachers of the law were sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judah and Jerusalem. And the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal those who were ill.
Some then came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. Go. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up onto the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The Pharisees and the teachers of the law began thinking to themselves, "Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Jesus knew what they were thinking and asked, "Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier, to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So he said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." Immediately he stood up in front of them, took what he had been lying on, and went home praising God. Everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, "We have seen remarkable things today."
I wonder how many people were squished in the house.
I wonder what the people watching thought of them when they saw that they were digging a hole in the roof.
I wonder who kicked the roof out and cleared up the mess afterwards.
What do I wonder? God. I wonder how high the roof was and whether there were steps to get onto them. I wonder how they actually lowered the person through the roof, because it sounds like incredibly difficult. And I wonder whether they cheered after, whether there was a big hooray after they saw what Jesus did.
What do you think, Amelie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Cool.
What was your most favourite part of the story?
My favourite part was when God healed the man.
And why?
Because he felt better because God healed him.
Thank you, Daniel. And what about you, Anna? What was the most important part of the story?
I think the most important part was when Jesus saw the paralyzed man's and friend's faith, and because of that, the man could get healed.
The nicest thing a friend's done for you lately?
I've got to have a lot of dental treatment and it's going to cost me a lot of money, but a friend of mine completely spontaneously decided to donate some money towards the cost of that, and completely out of his own pocket, and I'm grateful for that.
Ah.
A friend of mine sent me a message before I woke up, because she lives in the States, where she just sent me a nice song saying, "This is the song that I think of when I think of you." So that was nice. A nice happy song.
The other day, Timmy and Hannah bought me falafel because I was feeling bad. I liked it.
I'm not sure.
Oh. Fun challenge. Get your friend to carry you, give you a lift.
In my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise, and you will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You'll carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Fire before us, you are the brightest. You will lead us through the soul. Fire before us, you are the brightest. You will lead us through the soul. Fire before us, you are the brightest. You will lead us through the soul. Fire before us, you are the brightest. You will lead us through the soul. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
So this week we've also included a story from the Old Testament, from Genesis 24. In the olden days, it would be the parents who would choose a wife for their sons. Things have changed, haven't they? So Abraham is determined to find a wife for his son Isaac. And so he sends the servant to find a wife. So the servant goes to find a wife for Isaac. And he comes across this amazingly generous and caring and selfless young girl, Rebecca. Let's listen to the story.
It was late one afternoon when he arrived at the well outside the city where Abraham's family had lived. He ordered the camels to kneel down close by the well. Then he began to pray. God of my master, please help me to choose the right wife for Isaac. The women will soon be coming to fetch water, and I shall ask one of them for a drink. Please let the girl who gets me a drink and also offers to draw water for the camels be the bride that you have chosen.
Abraham's servant was still beside the well, praying that God will help him to choose Isaac's bride. When he heard footsteps coming near, he looked up to see a beautiful girl walking towards the well, her empty water pot on her shoulder. As she filled the jar, the servant hurried forward. Please may I have a drink? He asked. She readily lowered the jar and let him drink. Then her eyes strayed to the waiting camels. Shall I get your camels a drink too? She offered, and began to fill her water pot again and again until the drinking trough was full. The servant was full of joy. His prayer had been answered. What is your name? He asked. Rebecca, she said. I am the granddaughter of Nahor. The servant knew that Nahor was Abraham's own brother. How good God had been to lead him to his master's family. He brought out rich jewels and put them on Rebecca. Rebecca took the servant home, and then he told his story to the whole family. Rebecca's father and brother agreed that she would marry Isaac. It was so clear that God wanted. The moment Isaac met Rebecca, he loved her and he gladly made her his wife.
So now we've got a modern adaptation of that story, how Isaac gets his wife, and it's through a game show.
Good morning and hello, St. Barnabas. Welcome to a new game show called How to Get a Wife, Christian Style. This game show is in aid of a promise God has made me. That promise is, this land will be in my family for a very long time. My son will own it, and then his children will own it. So generation after generation. And I am here today to find a generous wife for my son Isaac, who unfortunately can't be here today because he's meditating in a field. Right, in this game show, we'll have 2 audience members as the contestants, chosen by our servant voice.
Hello down there, my name is Genesis and I am 24.
Thank you, servant voice. Right, now, let's get this game show started, shall we? I'm gonna go stand over there and we're gonna get our contestants out. Right, servant voice, let's get this game show started.
Servant voice, it is now time to start the game show. Can you please pick 2 people from the audience who do not live in this area?
Okay, I'll do my best. Contestant number 1 is the person who is sitting in G24. The second contestant is the person sitting in B11.
Heard it, boys and girls. Can we have contestant number 1? Hello, contestant number 1. What is your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Jasmine and I am a daughter of the Canaanites.
Contestant number 2. What is your name and where are you from?
I'm from Nahor and my name is Rebecca.
Right, in this game show, you will have 2 rounds to answer your questions and you will answer them separately. Does that make sense? Right, contestant number 1, you're first. Contestant number 2 comes down with me. Contestant number 1. The questions will come from the voice above, the servant voice. He will tell me the questions and I will repeat them to you. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Servant voice, can we please have a question? Right. Since I am closer to God, I have been listening to his plans and I will whisper the question in your ear now. Thank you, servant voice. The question is, do you have some water? Servant voice is very tired and has travelled so far on his camel and is very thirsty. They both are. Do you A, be very generous and share the water with both of them? Or B, be very selfish and run away and splash it on him and say, stranger danger?
I think I'd have to splash it on the man and the camel, run away and shout, stranger danger.
Okay, servant voice, can we have question number 2? Okay, whispering it to you now. Thank you, servant voice. Question number 2 is, servant voice has travelled so far from where he lives. He travelled on his camel and is very tired. Do you A, give him a place to stay and be very generous to let him stay with you and your family? Or B, to be very selfish and let him travel all the way back home in the freezing cold?
I definitely think he should go back home in the freezing cold. Definitely.
Okay, time's up. Contestant number 1. Contestant number 2, this is your time now.
A, give the man and his camel some water. A, give him a place to stay with my family.
Thank you. We are calculating the answers now. It is now time to pick a winner. Right, it is not in my job description to do that job, seeing as I'm just the host, and I will be talking to my agent about that because I'm not paid enough for this job. Servant voice, it's up to you. I decide who wins and becomes Isaac's wife in the future. I pick the winner to be of how to get a wife is the generous Rebecca. Well done, Rebecca. You will now go off to meet Isaac in the field.
Hey JJ, what did you think about Rebecca in Genesis 24? What did you think about her character and her generosity?
Well, I thought that she was a really nice character, and that she's very respectful, and she gives a lot of respect, and she's very generous. She's a giver, not a taker.
Rebecca was a giver, not a taker. What a wonderful way to describe a person. So this week, let's be givers towards our brothers and sisters, towards our family members. Let's be respectful, and let's shine in our character towards those who are around us. Just like Rebecca at the well. Have a good week. Bye.